into the microphone.
I'm gonna vape directly into the microphone. Oh my god, my dog's barking.
What a
All right.
dick.
Hello, everyone. This is the Daycare podcast. We are vaping on the podcast tonight. We're gonna do some vape ASMR.
Speak for yourself.
I'll start it up. Here's a little ASMR for you. Okay, now we can really begin the episode. So tonight we got the three amigo hosterinos, Mr. Nipples, Nick, and our Puddle pirate.
What's up?
And he's gonna tell us some good stories tonight. Isn't that right?
All right, Cutter. So let's
I
start
demand
with
stories.
let's start with. Actually, you told us a really fucked up one just the other day. Some idiot went out on, what was it? You said like 8 or 15-foot swells or some shit.
Yeah, it was like solid
Yeehaw.
8 to 10s, pushing occasional 12 out there. So yeah, just typical idiots. They think they're extreme sports, Tony Hawk wannabes, and they go out there and out there with a parasail and which, if you don't know, is like you're on like a wakeboard and you've got like a parachute sail thing on, like, it's like a kite, and they're like surfing, being pulled by this kite.
It's a little ass board connected to a kite.
Yeah, basic. Well, no, the board's not. You are. Yeah. So.
All right. So, from what I understand, you had to give this guy a smooch.
I didn't give anybody a smooch. I don't give smooches.
He's a good Christian boy. He does not give free
Please.
smooches.
You've gotten promoted past the smooching, huh?
Yeah, I've moved on. I've advanced from there. I just drive the boat. I let somebody else do the smooching.
So did the idiot make it, or?
No, he did not.
That's too bad. Well, then I feel bad for speaking ill of the dead, but I'm sorry, you're an idiot if you go out in situations like that.
Oh no, trust me. You see enough of it that we have a good sense of humor about it now.
No,
so.
But I feel bad speaking ill of the dead, but when you're that dumb,
There's this thing called natural selection,
yeah.
And it exists for a reason. So.
A while back, we had a discussion about the new guy in your unit. We actually sent out a prop to him on the air because that's some hard shit. Belen even put out a few words to him. How's he doing?
He's doing great. He honestly, we haven't really talked about it. But we hang out and we hang out quite a bit, and he's doing fine. So.
All right, that's good.
But,
well, we always hate to hear about our brothers that are having a hard time, and.
Oh yeah.
So. Are you like rubbing the monkey or something? Because you're breathing pretty freaking hard.
No, me? I'm like breathing, rubbing the monkey. I'm gonna have to
playing
remember that one.
Playing a little 5-on-1, feeding the
No.
ducks, distributing some free literature.
No, not at the moment.
Pulling your horn.
Oh, wow.
You're like, I'm like, what the fuck? So I don't know.
I'm getting a different kind of ASMR now.
I think my microphone's just turned up too high.
We've had some interesting guests on the show. I wouldn't put it past our guests. So.
Wow. Oh, man. Yeah, so...
All right. Yeah, a lot of people have been confused on whose video that was. Even though I said it was Cutter's, or Puddle Pirate, they're like, oh, that was a great video you took there, Nick. I'm like, no, not me.
What video?
The video of the fireworks that you took.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a fun night. We were actually in the middle of doing a boarding when I took that video.
How majestic.
Yeah, I know, right? I was trying really hard not to show the boat that was tied up to the other side of our boat while I'm taking this video. So we're enforcing a security zone because the the fireworks were on the pier going out to the lighthouse, and it's like right next to the channel, going in and out of the creek there, where the marina's at. And so we're out there, doing the security zone. Not, after a certain time, people weren't supposed to be going through there, especially during the fireworks. And we had a couple of people try to run through,
Jesus.
And of course, we broadcast on Channel 16 that, hey, the entrance is now closed to all traffic. In an emergent situation, contact Coast Guard on Channel 16, blah, 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 whatever. And, there's our boat, there's the state Marine Police, they're out there, and then we had another, if you guys know what the Coast Guard Auxiliary is, it's like the Civil Air Patrol, but it's Coast Guard. We had them on the inside of the creek, and this guy drives right by him, and our aux guy calls me and is like, hey, this guy just blew through. So we had a couple of those. But then, so we're sitting there, this was, a couple hours later, we're sitting there, and the fireworks had just started, and this boat comes barreling through what we kind of made a line, like, nobody get any closer than this. And this boat comes barreling through with no lights on at all.
The hell?
Yeah, and those of you who are not familiar with the boating world, you are required to have a red and green light on either side, port and starboard side of your boat, and then you also have a white stern light. They had no lights at all. And
I'm doing with flashlights.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're in a kayak, that works, but not.
Well, I was on a duck boat, but
No, that works too. But not a 30-foot,
oh no, yeah, no.
Sea Ray. But so we pull up next to him, and this guy, I'm not gonna push my luck here, but he was not of the type that you would normally see out on a boat. And it was like, he's like, what's the problem? When we're like, you don't have any lights on and you're trying to go through the security zone. And he's like, oh, we're just trying to get back into the creek. And we're like, yeah, no, this isn't going to work, bro. And then we got to talking to him, and he was kind of intoxicated.
Oof.
And so we had to deal with that. And I assumed it was his wife was like, I have to pee. Can we speed this up? Because I got to go pee. And we're like, well, sorry about your luck. Hang it over the side.
You can't be operating any vehicle while you're intoxicated, including a bicycle.
Yeah.
So
They didn't go for one law. They just tried to go for all of them at once. They didn't have lights on. They were in a security perimeter and they were drunk. This is the
only thing they could have been doing better is smuggling, weapons from Canada to the U.S. or weed or something.
No shit, right?
Might as well have.
Yeah.
Just throwing that in
well,
there
weapons
too.
from Canada. What are they going to bring? Molasses shooters? Well, that wouldn't work. So
Weaponized.
yeah, it'd have to
moose.
be weed.
A weaponized moose.
Moose. What are you gonna do? Like mount a 240 on either one of its antlers?
You just sit in the
weaponized
road.
Moose. Weaponized moose. There's actually a law in Alaska that is currently on the books and standing because people had weaponized moose. They went and they got a couple moose into an airplane. They loaded them in with food. They got into the air and somebody started pushing the moose out of the airplane.
Moose bombs.
That's
and
insane.
it is now illegal in the state of Alaska to put moose onto an airplane.
When somebody would say moose bombs, I would normally think of like poop, not throwing the moose out of a fucking airplane.
An actual moose.
Only in Alaska.
Well, only in Florida would Florida guy have sex with a porcupine, leading to a law that says you are not legally allowed to have sex with a porcupine.
They should. Why doesn't bestiality laws just cover porcupines?
Well, why doesn't you can't kill somebody with a fire? You can't kill people, not cover. Why don't people just figure, oh, gee, that covers shooting them with a weapon or stabbing them with a knife? Yeah.
You gotta get specific nowadays.
I guess.
Especially in Florida, Florida guy. Good grief. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, Scout is down in Florida.
Oh God. Oh yeah. Yeah.
He sent me a picture this morning, and if he doesn't post it, I'm posting it. And you guys are going to love this picture that he sent me from Florida. Oh, good grief.
I remember one of the first times I went off base in Florida. We were driving down the highway to go to the beach. We were in an Uber, and fucking the Ubers down there all decked out. It's like a minivan with like karaoke and all kinds of wild shit. But we're just chilling, right? Yeah, no, it's wild, dude. The Ubers down there are fucking lit in Pensacola. But we were riding on the way to the beach across the bridge, and there's a motorcycle next to us, and he starts to pass us, and there's a black SUV in front of us. And I see this dude hang something out the window, and it is a can of Axe and a lighter. And he tries to light the motorcyclist on fire from the SUV. Like, he starts flamethrowing at the motorcycles, and I was like, God damn. I was like, we really are in Florida. It really be like that down here.
You need to take a look at the picture I just posted
wild.
on the
Yeah.
Daycare
Fighting a
chat.
Waffle House.
Is that the picture he sent you?
Yeah.
It looks like he's doing well for himself.
Scout's the whole 17. I don't know what she is, but yeah, he's doing just fine.
Good for him. So, but I was going through pictures that I had from just like pictures I'd taken at work and stuff, different cases and everything, trying to come up with like good stories to tell.
Yeah.
And I don't know where you're wanting me to go with this.
Just pick something and shoot. You know. See, this is one of the episodes where we're not
going to
have
wacky ones.
Or should we have them do the tradition now and then give them time to think about the other ones?
Both.
All right, we got a tradition on the show. You listen to it. You got to tell us an embarrassing, just a crazy story from your time in service. It's just something like off the wall stupid.
Something off the wall stupid. Okay.
Whether it be you or somebody else. Like last week, we told a story about some guy that was making out with a dude in a bar, but he thought it was a chick, and then he went to do the package check, and it turned out to be a dude because he saw the Adam's apple.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
The classic bamboozling.
Yeah.
You got to be really drunk.
Yeah, that sounds like a story from New Orleans that I had. So I lived on the Naval Air Station in New Orleans in Belchase. Anybody that's been down there. And my neighbor was a Marine, and he worked on aircraft. That's all I know. So we were all gonna hang out one night, and Johnny's like, "Yeah, no, I gotta work tonight," and we're like, "No, you don't. You don't work at night. You don't stand duty or anything." What? And so, and Johnny was like your stereotypical like jarhead Marine. I swear to God, he would barbecue crayons, but
that doesn't work well.
No. So he went off to work, and we're like, okay, whatever. And a couple weeks later, we were down in the French Quarter, and ran into him, and we're like, what are you doing? He's like, oh shit. Like, Johnny, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going to work. And we're like, where do you work? He's like, oh, I work at this bar down here. And he's like, just do me a favor, like, don't come down and bug me. I'm like, okay. So he takes off, and we're like, we got to figure this out. So we followed behind him, like, far enough he couldn't see us. He wasn't just bartending. He was stripping at the gay bar.
Oh, shit.
Married, 2 kids, totally straight dude, but he was making bank.
Yeah, but he's lucky he didn't get caught by command, because that's actions that'll be coming.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
That is UCMJ right there. That is straight up.
So we walk in, and he looks at us, and it was so awkward because he's wearing like a banana hammock. And here is this, very, I work out way too much, cut young Marine in a banana hammock. And there's like all of these old, nasty dudes.
Oh, shit.
All around him, like, and he's just, it was like out of a movie. Like,
you ever watch Shameless?
No.
Okay, Shameless, this young guy, he's the guy that played Joker in Gotham.
Oh, yeah.
and he went into the gay bar and he was stripping there. He was like 15.
Oh God.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just imagine what it would. Oh God.
Yeah, so it was literally like a scene out of a movie. It was like everything just went like slow motion as he looks up and sees us, and like as he makes eye contact, this old guy throws like a wad of dollar bills in the air, and they're just like raining over him all majestically in the twinkling dance lights of the strip club, gay strip club, and
Oh.
and he looks at us and goes, "Oh shit." And we all just busted out laughing. I mean,
Ugh.
we went in and like grabbed some beers and sat down, and we're just like sitting in the corner by ourselves, like just laughing.
Shit.
And he finally came over like maybe like 10 minutes later and was like, "If you ever fucking tell anybody about this, we will kill you." So Johnny, if you're listening, good luck finding me, buddy. But
Damn.
I didn't use his last name.
John, if you want to come
Who
on,
even
if you want
says
to come
Johnny's
on,
his real first name.
John,
So,
if you want to come on the show and defend yourself,
Yeah, right.
You're more welcome to.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm gonna put out a post later on saying, Johnny, we want you to come in and defend yourself.
Yeah.
Real quick, okay. Every time a guest tells an embarrassing story, I tell an embarrassing story about something that happened when I was in. Not always about me, but an embarrassing story. So we got this new guy, one of those guys that can lift heavy-ass things but ain't too bright,
Yeah.
into the artillery. Brand new guy. And he's a good country boy. So I decided to get him fucked up, and I took him down to the Poof. I guess neither one of you two have been stationed in Germany. The Poof is a legalized whorehouse.
Okay.
So I paid for his first round, and he was up there for like an hour. And he comes down, and he's like, his cheeks are stained with tears. And I go, God, was it that good, man? He goes, no, we just talked. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's so damn
paid?
wholesome.
You paid for him a stripper, and he just talked, or
no, not
a hooker,
stripper.
a hooker,
He-
and he just.
Yes.
He turned into a therapy session.
So then he paid for another round with somebody else,
That's
and
fucked
he was
up.
gone for about 6 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I won't say who it was, but anybody from my old unit knows exactly who it was just by the description of the guy I gave. So, oh, real quick, again, Sarah and Kelly, if you can get Trout on the show, we plan on doing that movie episode in October. We need them on. All right, so let's talk about this fire picture that I saw on your profile today.
Okay, that's a good one.
Was that a boat on fire or a house or?
That was an entire marina.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So this was when I was in Virginia. I was about station's about 45 minutes north of Yorktown, Virginia. In the middle of the Chesapeake Bay.
Suffolkish area.
Well, how do you live out there? Do you like sit on a raft and just float out in the middle of Chesapeake
not in
Bay,
the middle way up the bay, smart ass.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, way north of Suffolk. North of Yorktown. So we ran basically between the Potomac and the York River. Both sides of the bay. But anyway, so we got the call at like probably about 4:30 in the morning that the the city marina was on fire, and or that there was a boat fire up there, and so we're thinking a boat, okay, and it's about an hour transit in the 45, which was our only option, our only asset choice for a fire. The 29 doesn't have. Actually, I think at that time we still had the 25, but the smaller boats don't have any sort of firefighting equipment on them.
So instead of using a duck boat, you use like a sailboat?
No. God, this guy. So anyway, we run up there, and we pulled in maybe 20 minutes before sunrise, and it was just like this ball of fire you could just see over the entrance to the creek that it's on, and I mean it looked like sunrise, but it was in the wrong direction.
Oh shit.
Yeah, just this orangey red glow, and we got up there, and the entire marina, as you can see in those pictures, the entire marina was up in flames, and they had the local fire department out there, with their big ladder trucks spraying. We were out there with our fire pump, and trying to do what we can. It's a handheld. It's not a mounted piece. It's just a hose that we hook up. But trying to do what we could, but there was nothing we could do, and the whole place went up in flames. But
So
the story that we got was that there was a couple living on their boat, and this was in February, I think. So there was a couple that was living on their sailboat in there, and they were using like a kerosene heater
oh shit.
in their boat. And
That sounds like an incredibly poor choice.
yeah, right. And so whatever caused it to ignite, their boat was the first one, and then it just spread out from there. And both of their bodies were recovered from the water,
sucks.
pretty charred. That's the only time I've had to witness a charred body before. But and then what really sucked about the whole thing was, when you look at the pictures, you see the corrugated tin roof from the marina collapsed down on top of everything.
Oh shit.
So as we're spraying and the firefighters are spraying water onto the fire, we can't really get to the base of the fire because the roof is blocking it. And every once in a while, you'd start hearing like a jet, and then a pop, and it was somebody's propane tank, going off, and you'd see, like a little piece of tin, pop up where the tank had exploded. But there was, because of that corrugated tin roofing, there was nothing anybody could do. We just pretty much sat there and watched it burn. But
God, I can only imagine.
But yeah, I don't remember what the final total was, but there was 2 or 3 piers there with probably, I'm just estimating, but probably 30 boats on each pier.
Good grief.
Yeah, and all of them went up in flames.
That's tens of millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, it was massive, and there was some talk for a while that there was some insurance fraud involved with the owners of the marina, because it was the city docks, but it was privately owned or contracted or something. However, it was business handled.
Unless they killed the family, unless they killed the couple first.
Yeah, so I never really heard what the final verdict was on it. But when I left there, they still hadn't rebuilt it. But
yeah, that's some insanity. That's too bad though. That really is. Yeah. Some people make poor choices, but sometimes you make those poor choices because that's where you're stuck at in life. So you never know.
My job is literally just interfering with natural selection. I'm telling you.
Well, from what I hear, about half your job is cleaning up after natural selection. So.
Well, yeah, there's a good chunk of that too. So. But,
yeah, I hear the 4th of July was just awful for you.
Okay, so that weekend, I was off duty the weekend, but the other duty section from Friday morning to Monday morning, they were underway for 30. They logged 36 hours underway.
Jeez.
Yeah. So.
That's insane. So, what is the dumbest boater you've ever run into? We don't need names or type of craft he was in. Just the dumbest one you've ever run into.
It was probably a sailboat, to be honest with you. and that's painful for me to say because I grew up sailing, and there's just these guys, they've got money and they don't know what to do with it, and they go buy these sailboats, and then they don't know how to sail, they don't know how to drive a boat, and they get out there and they get in trouble, and they go, well, my boat's disabled, I ran out of gas. Well, put your fucking sails up and sail.
Yeah,
You know?
that's why I was laughing, because I've known a few of those people growing up.
Yeah. We had a guy. Excuse me. We had a guy one time that got he was in a dinghy, like just an inflatable dinghy, and he was all the way out in the middle of the Chesapeake Bay,
How did I follow?
and ran out of gas, and he was trying to go to the eastern shore, and didn't realize that he didn't fill up or he wasn't capable of carrying enough gas, whatever, and he wanted us to go ahead and tow him the rest of the way over to the eastern shore, and we were like, well, how are you going to get back? He wasn't even halfway across. We're like, how are you going to get back? And he's like, oh, well, I'll just get more gas.
Well, that'll get you a third of the way. Now, what are you going to do after that? Have us tow you again?
We were like, no, we're taking you back to Matthews.
Yeah, no, I'd take them back to some other random point and just drop them off in the middle of nowhere and be like, ha, you're at the coast.
Bye, Felicia. Yeah.
Speaking of which, that's the name of my sister-in-law. Isn't that funny?
That is funny.
It's always like, bye, bro. Bye, Felicia.
Yeah. So, let's see other good stories in these pictures.
There was another one I saw on there. I'd have to go to your profile to see it. And yeah. Oh, did I get a message?
This
No.
wasn't so much like, stupid story or anything, but the 45 is capable of towing up to 100 tons, and a Coast Guard 87-foot cutter is right at 92. And so we went out and did some training with the Beluga, which is one of the 87s out of Little Creek, there in Norfolk, and that was a lot of fun. I've never towed anything nearly that big before.
Wow.
And yeah, it was very interesting because, like, most of the time we tow a boat, it's they're small, 40, 50 feet at the most, but you could definitely tell, like, the old girl was putting some work in.
Yeah, that's got to be hard on the engines. Sure, maintenance love that.
Yeah.
So, what's your? I know you have had to have had a few in a few years. What's the biggest drug bust you've ever been involved in?
I actually have very well avoided such. The closest thing that I was really involved in was we had some smugglers that were they were locals in Virginia, but they were taking drugs from further south, God knows where, and they were taking them and putting them in crab pots.
Oh.
And sinking them in the Chesapeake in these crab pots. And then another boater from further up the bay would come and pick them up and then move them up, and they were moving them to D.C.
Huh.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's actually kind of genius because, like, because it was all state waters, we didn't have any authority over the fisheries.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't go out there and pull them, and the Marine police were so, they would.
Swamped.
Well, you gotta think, like, the Chesapeake Bay, that's majority of the fisheries there is crab, and so, I mean, it's like minefields of crab pots out there.
I was about to say, there's so many out there. It'd be insane to find like one or two pods out of like that many.
Yeah. So, and what they were doing was they would steal other people's crab pots, from other areas, and then move them to where they were using them. So it wasn't like they had these registered with their names or anything, because they have to be registered, and there's a stamp on the float that they use and everything.
Yeah.
So they're stealing other people's crab pots and moving them up to this area, so nobody else is going to pull them. And it was really kind of a genius idea. I don't know. I don't remember who exactly got on, figuring this was going on, but there were several times that we were going out on incredibly late night patrols. 3 o'clock in the morning, going out to go look for people with night vision goggles that are pulling crab pots. But they ended up catching them and finding out who it was, and we had to go with 2 DEA agents to go confiscate their boats, and basically we took possession of the boats, and then we towed them out of the creek that they were in and handed them over to a commercial salvage operator that took them on from there under government contract. But
Yeah.
it was really funny because we get there to meet up with these DEA agents, and this guy gets out of, he's driving a Jeep Compass, the little like grandma grocery getter type
Yep.
Jeep, and he is this like 6'8". I mean,
You just have to climb out of it.
you remember the black guy from Green Mile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that guy. Okay.
Oh, geez.
And just this huge black dude, and he goes over and he opens the hatch on the back, and I'm expecting him to grab, because he said he had to grab his rifle, and I'm expecting an M4 or something like that. He grabs an MP5K with a stock on it and straps it to his chest, and it literally looked like somebody was like playing with their GI Joes, and they just grabbed a gun from like their little 6-inch high Han Solo and gave it to their GI Joe. Like, it just, this isn't the right scale. Like, something's wrong here. It was really funny. We were laughing our asses off at him, but yeah, it was pretty uneventful. We went over there and looked through the boats, made sure that they were safe to tow, and then moved them out. So, but
Oh, that's so great.
nothing too eventful on the drugs topic. So,
All right. Well, that's one of the big things that people are wondering. That's actually why I don't know if I've been hearing rumors that there's like a current surge in recruitment in the Coast Guard from that video that went around. So
Oh, really?
people want to know. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently that guy's a cook.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Wow, I wonder
no.
what the fuck
So
he's
there's
cooking up.
Well, so there's the Coast Guard memes page, and they've been eating that alive. But yeah, so supposedly the guy's a cook, but you get on a big cutter, which is what they deployed their small boat off the cutter to go interdict this sub.
Yeah.
But they don't care. I mean, you could be a bosun's mate, a machinery technician, an operations specialist, which don't get me started there. But there's nothing operational about them. They're radio operators. But
So they're Mr. Nipples, but in the Coast Guard.
Yes.
basically, yeah.
They just have a fancier title.
Yeah. But they don't care what your rate is. You can be boat crew, you could be a coxswain, you could be boarding team or whatever, have any of these certifications and do any job on the cutter when you're not when you're not actually going out and doing stuff like that. So yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I'm a bosun's mate. My job is to drive boats, but there could be you could have a cook that is the small boat coxswain or the boarding officer or whatever. So yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, the Navy has similar positions, especially if you can just pass the swim qual and get your weapon certs, then you're good to go on like small boat teams.
oh yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. Ours is a little more in depth than that. We don't like running our boats into jetties. So
Yeah, we have a little bit of kamikaze sometimes,
yeah, a
Well,
little bit.
Navy has a bigger budget too, though. So,
Well, that's
Yeah,
also
same.
true.
We can afford to run into stuff.
like
Apparently.
oil tankers and
Yeah, right.
other ships,
Taiwanese oil tankers.
Well,
So
maybe
other ships.
maybe the
other
Taiwanese
naval
should get out of the
ships.
way.
Yeah.
the naval ships, mines that have been in the ocean since World War II.
Yeah, right.
Hey, those things are sneaky. Just like John Paul Jones said, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead.
It's not that the torpedoes you have to
bassist
worry
from Led
about.
Zeppelin said that?
No, not that John Paul Jones.
Oh,
The
okay.
the founder of our modern Navy, John Paul Jones.
Oh.
Yeah,
You sure he wasn't the
It's
bass
like
player from Led Zeppelin?
he's like Poseidon, but he has cannons and he's a lot more badass.
He's basically the
I know who he is. I'm just fucking with you.
He's the Mad Dog Mattis of the Navy, essentially. but
no,
a lot
not
older.
Mad Dog, not Mad
He's
Dog.
a lot older.
Who's the Saint of the Marines? It's not Mad Dog. It's
I'm not sure.
Every Marine listening right now is shitting their pants.
Yes,
They're screaming it at us right now.
Lilith knows, and I know she's not in chat right now because her daughter
She's probably gonna yell at us later.
Yeah,
Probably.
I remember his name's on like the. Yeah, you know what? I will look it up. You two keep bantering.
All right, continue the cheeking bantering. So I actually did some stuff recently with the Navy. We did a fleet protection exercise because that's what my unit does. We go on ships and we grade how they react to events, basically like being attacked by like people at their when it's like in-port exercises, so like people protesting at the front gate, attacking the front gate, stuff like that, and active shooters. So we were running, I forgot what drill. It was one of the night drills. It was swimmers. That's when it was. We were running swimmers at night, and they knew something like that was going to happen soon, but they never know when it's going to happen, and they don't know what order the drills are going to happen. So they're all on edge. So I was on the top of an LHD with the guard, and we were just walking back and forth, and he was staring at the piers waiting for something. And in the Norfolk port, there's like a ton of crabs and stingrays that swim around at night.
Yep.
So there was a pod of stingrays that looked oddly like swimmers, but he starts to like get the megaphone and he's kind of staring at him and eyeing him down. And he was like, "Are those swimmers?" And I was like, "We're not even running a drill right now, bro." And he's like, "Those have to be the swimmers. You're messing with me." So he starts yelling at these stingrays on the megaphone. He's like, "Stop swimming towards the ship!" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't think they're gonna listen. They're pretty obviously stingrays." And he keeps going.
Listen
He's
here,
like, "Stop!"
Aquaman.
He stopped. Yeah, I was like, I don't think they're gonna listen to you, bud. So they keep swimming towards the ship. And during the drills, everyone has rubber duckies, and you have to yell "bang" or use your flashlight to signal you're shooting and tracking things.
Yeah.
So he starts yelling "bang, bang, 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 bang," and I was like, "Well, you got the stingrays. You really let them know that Steve Irwin really still has shooters out in these streets." I was like, "That one's for Steve Irwin, boys.
That's
He got
great.
him."
So it was
great.
General Chesty Puller.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Why was his name? I don't know. But yeah, he is like the saint of the Marines. He is, So.
But does he have his own flag? Because John Paul Jones had his own flag. Because when he captured the British frigate, they pulled into, I believe it's a Swedish or a Danish port. And he was like, "Well, our ship has to have a flag so we can go places because you can't be sailing around without one." So he described the American flag roughly to the Danes or the Swedish. I forgot who it was, but they made this really fucked up looking version. It's like alternating red, white, and blue stripes. And it has 13 stars, but they're not like 5-point stars. They're like 8-point stars. And they're in no sort of circular pattern like how the original colonial flag was.
That sounds badass.
It's actually, I actually have one in my house hanging above me
Chesty
right now.
Puller does have his own flag. It's a red field. Has a globe on it, an eagle, an anchor.
Oh, that's
Isn't that just the Marine
that's
Corps
the Marine
flag?
Corps flag.
Yeah, that's Chesty Puller's flag.
That's how badass he is.
Well, in that case, John Paul Jones got 2 flags.
Wow.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. There's this guy, and he was a general in the Army. He was such a fucking badass that one of the most lethal machines ever used in war was named after him.
Bradley?
Yep. And then there's the other one, General Abrams.
Yep.
Oh, I love the Abrams tanks. Those things,
Well, I
those
mean,
things are like
they
sexy
named the
land
tank after
ships.
Patton too. So I mean,
Yep.
True.
And of course, we can't let the Navy live this down. It's going to come up whenever we start talking about this kind of stuff. The largest amphibian landing in history, and there
was
wasn't a
conducted
Marine
by the
there.
Army.
Yep. Wasn't a single Marine in sight.
Yep.
Coast Guard was there.
Yes, we were.
Yeah, they drove the landing craft.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Those are some badasses, but I don't know if you guys have. There's so many stories that came out after, but we'll cover that next year when it gets time for the anniversary again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are some badasses that went out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually working on getting us a World War II vet that was there.
Oh, that'd be
show,
amazing.
That would be incredible.
If he'll come on, he was a medic. I don't know if I can get him on. He, whenever he starts talking, he starts spacing. So I don't know if he's willing to,
Yeah, I don't blame him.
But yeah, I've heard a few stories, and he's
Nice.
But once again, I'm asking everybody, reach out to anybody that you want on the show, especially, Lieutenant Dan to come on the show, and we owe him a lot of thanks for the stuff he does for the Gold Star families.
Dude, that'd be
And the more listeners we can get on the show, is the more likely that iTunes will pick us up. And once iTunes picks us up, we're going to be able to produce more shows. Get a second producer for whenever Mr. Nipples does deploy. That way we don't have to stop. So it's going to happen. He's Navy, So
they get us all eventually.
yeah. Especially now that he got promoted. Again, congratulations on that.
You're an E5 now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, welcome to the
gang.
E5 Mafia, bro.
Yeah.
E5 Mafia? No. It's the E5 Conspiracy.
Yeah, I heard you promoted from the E4 Mafia to the E5 Conspiracy.
Oh, is okay.
Yep.
I didn't get the memo.
Conspiracy. Yep. And then it's the E6 Select. Yep.
E6 Sluts? Is that what you said?
Select.
Oh.
Because,
That's
you
a
have
different group.
It's a whole, that's only the Air Force is the E6 Select.
Oh, my.
Okay.
No, but, the E6 in the Army, nowadays you have to suck some serious dick to get promoted, so.
Jesus, that sucks.
Yeah.
That or you have to kill the person above you in rank. It's really like Mad Max out there nowadays.
That's like making Master
bad.
Chief in the Coast Guard.
Unless you deploy on a regular basis like some of these poor guys have, it's hard to get promoted nowadays.
Really?
Yeah, the more combat time you have, is the quicker you get promoted. Well, there's only so many slots, and you have to want to continuously get deployed to make rank at a regular base, and it's promotion points, and But you can volunteer to deploy. You can volunteer. You can be in any unit and volunteer to deploy with another unit. So,
yeah,
why not? It's just an incentive to make money, get promoted, move up. So, you were telling me when we were talking to that Gold Star wife that, by the way, Navy spouse guy is still considering going Coast Guard because the Army's fucking with him again. But you were saying that after you make, E6, or the E6 version in the Coast Guard, you can go to officer school?
Okay, so there is, you go to warrant. After you make E6, you can go to warrant. You can apply for OCS at any point, if you meet the criteria. But yeah, after you make E6, and you can start applying to become a warrant. And as long as you don't go above, you can be an E6 or an E7 and apply for warrant.
Okay.
Once you make senior chief, you can't do it anymore. But
that makes sense. They got too much invested.
Yeah, and then we only use W2 and W2 to W4. So it's a pretty decent jump in pay.
Yeah.
Going to a W2.
Well,
so
a lot of guys out there listening, that either got out of the Army or whatever and want to get back in, they don't want to go back into the crappy service. Well, they don't understand that in the Coast Guard, there's the fact that you get to see the job before you actually pick your job.
Yeah. So I've had a lot of guys that were prior service. Most of them actually have been Marines. Um, but yeah, so if you join in your prior service, I think Army and Navy or Marine Corps and Navy, they'll let you go to like the abbreviated version of boot camp. And again, don't quote me on this. I'm not a recruiter. Um, but you go to boot camp and then you go into the fleet to a unit right out of boot camp. Um, what we call non-rate.
You don't want to do
So
that in the Navy. That's actually the worst thing ever.
yeah, it's not like being non-des in the Navy. So everybody does this unless you want to be a cook, which they'll send you straight to school if you want to be a cook. But so you go to any kind of unit in the Coast Guard has non-rates, and that's your E1 to E3, um, which if you're prior service, you'll at least come out as an E3. Um, go to a unit, get qualified on whatever they have. If you're at a small boat station, so you're getting your small boat crew qualification, probably your boarding team member, which is your basic law enforcement qual, um, and then you can put your name on whatever A school list you want, and then you wait to go to school. But the cool thing about it is um, they'll send you to whatever unit has whatever rate you want to go so that you can experience what they actually do. We have bosun's mates, machinery technicians, and a storekeeper at my unit.
Wow.
So uh, if you want to be a damage controlman or a health services technician or whatever, they will send you to whatever unit they need to send you to so that you can experience what they actually do in the fleet and make an informed decision on it. So
I know there's got to be a Coast Guard recruiter somewhere in your town. There's got to be somewhere nearby.
here in Michigan City, I think the closest one's actually in Chicago.
All right. Um, since you're actually in, is there any chance you can do us a favor? Give him a
Yeah.
call and have him come on the show, because we'd love to be able to get this information out there. It's an underappreciated, we bust y'all's balls, but we know we need you.
I have you one up. I've got a buddy who is right now at this very moment, guy I went to boot camp with, is in recruiter school.
Oh shit, that'd be great.
So I will hit him up, and when he gets out, we'll get him on the show.
That would be great, because it's a job that needs to be done, and a lot of guys in the prior service can't. They don't want to go back to the fucking sandbox.
Well, no, and the thing about it is I mean you can do as much or as little in the I mean not to say as much or as little, but I mean you can go be operational and do what I do and drive small boats and or be on cutters and do the drug thing and or whatever, or if you just you want to be in the military and rack up your points or rack up your time for retirement and be a pencil pusher, go yeoman. I mean, do it. I don't care. But, you know, there's such a wide variety of jobs that, you can pretty much find anything.
And then there's those badasses, I don't know what they're called, but the ones that do the search and rescue out of helicopters, I don't know what the hell they're called.
Oh, fuck those guys.
Well, that it's another job. There's guys out there that are PJs and
they have to make them sound they have to make themselves sound cooler than just rescue swimmer. It's aviation survival technician.
No, but I'm just saying, let's say somebody got out there a PJ and they want to do it again.
Well,
yeah, they don't want to go to a sandbox. That'd be a great job.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's I will tell you, I've been in 7 years and I've had probably 40 or more non-rates, and I've had 5 that either attempted it or did attempt it, and none of them have made it through that school.
Yeah, it's a hard ass school.
The attrition rate is ridiculous. We had a guy when I was in Virginia that he had gone twice and failed out, and was trying to go a third time, and they denied him.
Jeez. But
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher made it.
Oh God. There's your saint. There's your saint to the Coast Guard, Senior Chief Ben Randall, Kevin Costner.
No, but I got to bring this up just because I mentioned his name. The man, Ashton Kutcher, has been doing some amazing humanitarian work. So.
Oh yeah.
We got to put that out there. He's, for what he's done for sex trafficked kids is amazing.
You know what else he's doing that really makes me as a father happy? He is fighting to make it so that places are required to have a baby changing table in the men's restroom.
Men's room.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. I saw that's really
That
awesome.
has been my issue time and time again as a father.
I literally... So I went to Taco Bell one time, the one in Yorktown, and I had my daughter with me, and there's no changing table in the restroom, and they were just a single stall, one room restroom. It wasn't like they had 6 stalls in there.
Yeah.
And I went up to the cashier and I was like, hey, I need to change my kid. There's nobody in the female restroom. Do you mind if I use it? And it was like I told her that I was going to, I don't know, rob the store or something. And she threw a fit. She was like, absolutely not. And I was like, okay, fine. So I turned around and I walked away and went down and sat on a table. And I proceeded to change my daughter right there on the dining room table at Taco Bell. And the manager came over and told me I needed to leave. And I was like, that's fine. I'm done changing my kid. I wasn't going to spend money in your fucking store anyway.
Speaking of Taco Bell, here's a good story for you. I used to live in Iowa for a while, and there was a Taco Bell about 7 blocks from where I lived. And it was addicting. It was the most addicting Taco Bell. Because, we all like Taco Bell, and we like to eat there now and again, and we get that hankering for it.
It's even better when you sprinkle a little cocaine on it, though.
I couldn't stop getting enough of this place, right? Kept eating there, and I don't know why. I couldn't figure out why. I always wanted Taco Bell. And that Taco Bell, they had a fucking meth lab in the back of the Taco Bell.
There we go. Called it.
Holy shit.
And holy shit. The people that were cooking the meth were making food, and meth was being transferred from point A to point B, and people were getting addicted to that Taco Bell.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
we had
years after I moved out, they busted.
I've got one close to that. When I was in Virginia, we there was 3 fast food restaurants in this little town, and one of them was a Hardee's. And so one of the other, I was a BM3 at the time. One of the other BM3s, he'd gone to Hardee's, and he's a middle of nowhere Georgia boy, and of course he gets sweet tea. And he comes over to me and goes, "Hey, does this tea taste funny to you?" I was like, "Dude, I don't drink sweet tea. I'm not gonna be able to tell if it tastes funny or not." He goes, "Just taste it." So I tasted it. And I looked at him and I was like, "Man, that shit tastes like weed." And so he turns around, goes to the MK2, the machinery technician second class, and goes, "Hey, does this taste like weed to you? Or does this taste funny to you?" Sure enough, he took a drink of it and goes, "Yep, tastes like weed." So we bust out the Nick kit out of the boat and tested it. And sure enough, the sumbitch turned blue.
Damn.
And we were, or pink, whatever color it's supposed to turn. And we're like, fuck, what do we do now?
You turn that shit into your supervisor.
You drank the specialty.
Yeah, right. We called command and notified the local police and everything. But yeah, it was.
Got
dude,
another one
seriously.
For you. Pete Barlow, one of our favorite guests. We all love Pete. In fact, he's actually a member of the team now. Did you guys know that?
No.
I added him to the team so he can promote GLO.
Oh, cool.
I just made him a editor or something, just moderator. I don't know. He's there. He's got good insight. Anyhow, one of his friends goes, at my last duty station, there's this E7 that knew he was going to piss hot for coke.
Oh God.
He knew it. So he started going into Top's office in the morning, sprinkling Coke in Top's coffee. He was sprinkling Coke in the BC's coffee. And sprinkling Coke on this guy's shit and that guy's shit. Well, there must be something wrong with the test.
Oh,
He put
damn.
coke. He coked out everybody else.
Yeah.
What a fucking asshole! I mean,
Well,
that's
that way, when the test came back positive for half the damn unit, there's no way they're going to believe that.
see that would fly anywhere except for Kodiak, Alaska. Did you guys heard about that, right?
Yeah.
No. Which one was that? Was that the unit that got busted
was
for trafficking?
No, it was the Coast Guard. Coast Guard. I think it was the station or the air station or whatever in Kodiak. Like 6 or 8 people all got busted for coke.
Jeez.
Yeah, there's nothing to do in Kodiak.
You guys heard about the
Such a
Army
joke,
unit
man.
last year, right? There's an Army unit last year, and 15 guys, something like that, got busted for smuggling, heroin
Oh God.
or raw. It was raw something. It was a poppy byproduct from Korea back to the States in cereal boxes.
Wow.
And a shipment of it got bought. It was, Korean cereal. They kept claiming they were shipping it back to family, and they're shipping mass amounts back. And they intercepted like $7 million worth of stuff, and they think that over $200 million got shipped during the time that they were doing this shit.
Wow.
It's freaking insanity.
Who ships that much cereal?
They said that their family was in love with this Korean cereal, and they kept shipping it.
Damn. That's a lot
Well,
of
I
stuff.
mean,
post office
I
wasn't
can't-
asking questions.
I can't say much because I used to have my grandma ship me barbecue sauce from this barbecue restaurant in Tulsa all the time. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I get it. I had a friend that lived in Germany after I got out that was shipping me seasonings.
Oh, yeah?
God. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Germany, but that food is...
We actually got a new food truck on base recently, and it's a German food truck. It's fucking lit, dude. Love that
Okay,
shit.
you need Rotkraut mit Soße.
I'm sorry, but we fought a war so that I don't have to eat kraut.
No. Red kraut is... And listen, the kraut that you've had in America has vinegar in it. No respectable German will ever put vinegar in their sauerkraut. Ever.
Really?
Yeah. They take wine, right? Like a white wine or a red wine. Depends if they're having regular sauerkraut or red kraut.
Huh.
Rotkraut. And red wine goes in with red cabbage. White wine
Yeah.
goes in with white cabbage. Green cabbage, right? And it sits in there, and it eventually once it starts turning the vinegar, they drain it and put it in new wine.
Huh.
And then that time they seal it up so it can't turn.
Mhm.
And it soaks in the alcohol, and it actually ferments in the alcohol. And
Really?
Interesting.
yeah, there's no vinegar in it. And then what they do is they cook it with a bay leaf, a head of, like an onion bulb, right? And they mince that shit up fine as shit, and they fry speck, which is basically heavily smoked pig fat with a little bit of meat on it. Still connected to the skin when they smoke it, but then they cut the pig, they cut the skin off. They
Yeah.
fry it up, and they sprinkle the onion on top of the kraut, right? And then they pour the chunks of rendered fat and the hot, burning fat on top of the sugar that they put on top of the onion, and it all caramelizes instantly, and then they cook it for 2 days.
That sounds good as fuck.
It
I
is
would
good
try
as
that.
fuck.
All right, we
It
got
is
about
fucking
a
outstanding.
minute and 30 seconds left. You wanna
All right.
go ahead and hit the
All right.
wrap up?
I got. Oh, I was gonna.
No,
okay, never
go
mind.
ahead and get out one more story on the
I
Coast
got.
Guard. and we'll-
I
Fire
got
off.
one more. I got one more thing.
Hit it.
Quick story. Anybody that knows how to cook and can finish cooking chicken, please go to your closest Coast Guard recruiting office. Funniest thing I've ever seen. The only time I've ever seen a senior chief like almost assault somebody. I was in Louisiana, and he was a Seaman FS, which is what he was a E3 cook, because he couldn't pass the test to make third class because he was an idiot. But he'd made grilled chicken one day, and he'd gotten in trouble multiple times for not completely cooking the food. And I'm sure everybody in the military has had some
Yep.
instance
I've had
of
so much food poisoning
undercooked
from galleys.
chicken. So the senior chief, who's the officer in charge, those of you who don't know, like um, small boat stations and even some of the small ships have enlisted command on them.
That sounds
You don't
Senior
have to
chief is
have
like top.
That
Yeah.
sounds fantastic.
yeah, you don't have to have an officer halfway up your ass to do things.
That sounds great.
I haven't seen an officer in years. I don't even think they exist. Um, so, senior chief walks over, gets his food, goes over, sits down, cuts into the chicken, and just immediately starts, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
The plate stays on the table. He picks the chicken up barehanded, walks into the galley, throws it at the cook, and says, "Stop whatever you're doing right now, and put that cocksucker back on the fucking refrigerator or fucking grill until it's fucking done." And this cook literally sat there, and the senior chief made him sit there and finish cooking this piece of chicken that the senior chief had thrown into the galley against the back wall, and it went like behind the refrigerator, and the kid had to go dig it out from behind the refrigerator,
Oh my
finish
god.
cooking it,
Oh,
and then throw it away.
yeah,
And,
well,
yeah,
taught him a fucking lesson.
He thought the
That
senior
was-
chief wanted his chicken medium rare.
nobody wants their chicken medium rare.
It's not squab.
That's how the Navy
No.
cooks it.
No.
Fucking squab. Who the hell eats pigeon?
Yeah.
Anyhow, don't be the idiot that runs out in the ice in the middle of the winter when you're trying to get away from law enforcement. It doesn't come
No.
out well.
No, I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to walk out on the ice and go rescue you.
Yeah. He pulled. Cutter here had to. They found a guy. They had to pull him from the water. This is the story that led to the young man that we mentioned on the show. The new guy. It was a guy had been underwater for a few months because he was trying
Yeah.
to run, and it wasn't good.
Well,
So don't be
we
that
we
idiot.
don't know if he was running from the cops, but he was wanted he was wanted for questioning in relation to a homicide case.
Well,
Uh,
yeah. There's several different things that could have happened, but don't go out on the damn ice.
yeah.
Don't be an idiot.
He fell in sometime in I think they said February 14th, so Valentine's Day, was when he had gone missing, or was reported missing, and we found him in that was mid-May, wasn't it?
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yeah. So, yeah, we thought he had on a camouflage shirt. He wasn't wearing a shirt. That was all of the discoloration of the skin, and then
Ooh.
the algae that was growing on his body.
Yeah. It doesn't end well.
No,
So
it doesn't smell well either.
Just keep that in mind, people. You
Oof.
don't want to be that guy in the water. It's not worth it. Fishing is
smart.
not worth it. Running's not worth it. Be smart.
Yep.
All right, let's close this up. We've all had that friend that has felt alone, had nobody to talk to. Trust me, there's always somebody to talk to. I have a friend that was there not too long ago. He's actually called into the show, and he was alone, and he felt very, very alone because of things that happened with his family. And guess what? He turned to some friends. He talked to us, and now he's got a better life. Things turn around, and he's doing well. No matter how bleak it looks, it's never that bad. So reach out. Just talk to anybody. I don't care if you have to walk into the guy working at McDonald's and blab his ear off until he tells you the next customer. Talk to somebody, okay? It's not worth that route. So we're here to talk to.
Yep.
Mission Zero is here to talk to. I Got Your Six is there. There's this group called Drinking Bros. It's run by the DV guys. Somebody there is always willing to talk to you. The DV group, people there will talk to you. That's actually how I ended up talking to McFucker, who's a member of our team. I was having a hard time and threw out a line, and somebody answered. And it's worth it, man. Nothing's ever that dark.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, you're literally dying on the field of battle, then it might be that dark. But yeah, it's always worth reaching out.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, Another thing, stop being a stupid idiot that doesn't go see the doctor. We got way too many guys that have cancer because they didn't go in and get seen and they could have been treated. There's another guy that we know that didn't go to cancer doctor for years. Now it's too late. So don't be that idiot.
Yeah, get your checkups.
Yep.
Even if it means their finger in the butt.
Yeah, even if you have to get the finger in the butt.
You can actually talk most doctors nowadays to do an ultrasound and instead of actually sticking a finger up there. Did you know that?
Really?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Well, that takes all my
Because
reason
the
to go to the doctor
ultrasound-
out.
The ultrasound actually shows whether or not it's swollen better than a finger.
Ah.
Can actually show abnormalities and growths quicker too.
Yeah, we could have
So
been doing this the
most
whole
intro-
time. I think the doctors just preferred the other method.
Well,
I
you know
think
what
this is
you know
on
what
them.
Peter Griffin said, right?
What?
Peter Griffin said, "He raped me." Yeah, he's right.
Wait, I thought that was why we went to the doctor. Because
Hey, I don't live on a ship. I'm not into that butt stuff.
I don't live on a ship.
Okay. Says the guy that, logged 30 some odd hours and had to get called in on his day off. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
You lived on a damn ship, man. Oh, no, wait. It's a skiff. Or is it a dinghy?
no.
A kayak is canoe.
I've actually used a kayak in Coast Guard operations before.
I
That's
believe it.
fantastic.
That's pretty outstanding. That's hardcore,
You
actually.
know, all you so-called blue water sailors, you want to make fun of us, but you know why that they like the deep water, right?
We don't
Why?
have to kayak around.
Because it's not rough. It's not that rough out there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Waves don't. Oh, no, you might have.
We just have rogue waves. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, but those aren't breaking though.
I've seen videos.
If you get hit, I've seen them, yeah. But you get hit by one of those, and you're just gonna go over it. You're not gonna get blasted
And
with
then the whole cruise
with
is
a
going to go
20-foot
underwater.
with a 20-foot breaker that's gonna throw you into the rocks.
No, we all have a friend up in Canada, Nolan, who was Canadian Navy, and I've seen videos of the damn waves lapping over the bow of that damn ship.
Oh yeah.
So,
I had 10, 12 footers going over the bow of the 45 on Monday. So
yeah, well, you're in a destroyer, and waves are coming over the bow of your ship. It's a lot bigger than 10, 12
huge.
footers. Yeah.
That's true.
So, but the Navy does like it rough. They like the bigger waves. They like it
yeah.
rough,
We do.
especially when the waves are coming up over the stern.
If you're in
The
an
ship,
aircraft
the regular
carrier,
rear.
if you're in an aircraft carrier and the waves are coming out of the stern of the ship, the rest of the world's probably gone at that point. So you don't really worry about it anymore,
Jesus
No, that's when you
Christ.
wish you were living in a sub.
That's when you're about to become
right.
a sub.
Yeah. Hey, at least you all glow when the reactor goes, so
True.
Wow.
Won't get
we'll
lost.
be able to find your body.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, guys, it's all fun and games, but we need you to reach out and don't be a stranger.
Yep.
We like hearing from y'all. And if you got any jokes or any shit to give Cutter, send them. We need to hear it, or any of us.
Or
Army,
or
Navy,
legitimate
Marines.
questions that you have. Those work too.
Yeah.
Those are okay.
And we want posts from you guys. We love when you submit the memes. And I need you guys to give Cutter and McFucker some shit. Or in Raven, because they don't put out very much as far as memes go. So give them some shit. So.
I'll get there.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you guys next Wednesday.
All right.
Yep.
See you, everybody.
See ya.
Later.